FBG Butta has lived a life full of chaos, near-death experiences, and street credibility. But everything came crashing down when a video of him crying in a police station went viral. This isn't just another run-in with the law. This is a deep dive into Butta's downfall, from surviving being shot 13 times to facing his most embarrassing moment yet. Let's break it all down. On September 5th, 2024, Butta found himself in a high-speed chase that would end in disaster. At 5 a.m., he and his girl were cruising the streets when a cop noticed him swerving all over the road. The cop tried pulling him over, but Butta wasn't having it. Instead, he did what any desperate man on the run would do. He hit the gas and took off. But Butta didn't get far. A couple of blocks later, he smashed his whip straight into a concrete barrier. He bailed out, running on foot as the cops chased him down. Allegedly, Butta tossed a gun out of the car during his escape, a move that only added to the severity of the situation. The cops tackled him hard. Butta, already hurt from the crash, wasn't ready to talk. When they tried questioning him, he wouldn't even give them his name. After a trip to the hospital to fix his jaw, thumb, and elbow, courtesy of the wreck and the cops' takedown, he was booked. But then came the moment that would haunt him forever. After being booked at the station, Butta was left alone in a room. That's when the tears came. He started crying uncontrollably, rolling around on the floor in pain. When the cops returned, they found him in full meltdown mode. In an interview from jail, Butta claimed he wasn't crying out of weakness, but because of the physical pain he was in. When we hit the wall, I hit my face on the steering wheel, and that shit broke my mother F nose, he said. When I jumped out the car, that's how I broke my thumb and elbow. But despite his claims, the video that surfaced only made things worse. The street world, already unforgiving, didn't take kindly to Butta's display of emotion. His enemies and even his own people started clowning him. And this wasn't even the first time Butta had been caught in tears. Back in 2023, Butta had another breakdown during an arrest, in front of his kids, no less. "What am I going to jail for? I didn't do anything," he cried. The reaction from the streets was swift and ruthless. Butta's enemies had a field day online, roasting him for his emotional display. But it wasn't just the ops who took shots. His own homie, J Mane, went public with the jokes too. J Mane and Butta had been tight for years, even pushing a peace movement together in Chicago, despite facing ridicule for it. But after the crying video dropped, J Mane took to social media, posting the footage, leaving many shocked. Butta was pissed. "J Mane, you so coked out your F mind that you ain't even paying attention, gang," Butta vented. "You burning real bridges, shorty." The tension between Butta and J Mane didn't stop there. J Mane later tried to justify his actions, claiming Butta knew the cameras were rolling and cried for the views. "He went viral for his jail videos, right? He understands that he's on camera," J Mane explained. But Butta wasn't buying it, accusing his homie of betraying him for clout. J Mane had been trying to distance himself from the streets and make a name for himself with legitimate ventures. He even started a cereal brand called Whoops, and with over 300K subscribers on YouTube, he was getting attention from big names like Lil Durk. But even with all the success, he still had enemies within FYB, who accused him of abandoning the crew and getting soft. It wasn't long before J Mane's ties to Durk, along with his attempts to push peace in Chicago, got him labeled a sellout by his old circle. The conflict between peace and loyalty created a rift that even Butta couldn't ignore. But in the midst of this drama, J Mane still had more going for him than Butta. He was making moves, getting shout-outs from big names, and pushing forward with his brand, while Butta's career seemed to be on the decline. Butta's street credibility had already been questioned before, and the snitch rumors only grew louder after he testified at the FBG Butta trial. His past, full of gang affiliations and violence, now included accusations that he'd cooperated with law enforcement. According to Butta, he never snitched on anyone alive, only on the dead. But Lil J, a former homie, claimed to have seen the plea agreement where Butta agreed to testify against him. Butta's story didn't stop there. He even testified about the infamous murder of O.D. Perry, a key figure in Chicago's gang wars. Butta alleged that his half-sister, K.I., was behind the murder of O.D. He also claimed that K.I. was one of the top shooters in the GD's ranks, and that she had witnessed took his death. Another key moment that would define Butta's relationship with his enemies. The fall of Butta and Lil J's friendship is a tale of trust broken and streets turned cold. Once seen as a duo that couldn't be torn apart, their bond was shattered beyond repair after Butta chose to keep riding with Lil J, even when the whispers of his betrayal started getting louder. Jay had allegedly been stealing from their crew, a violation of the unspoken code that held the streets together. But Butta, blinded by loyalty, or maybe ambition, turned a blind eye to the growing signs, pushing aside the rumors that were circulating about his boy's shady moves. But things didn't stay quiet for long. The streets don't forget, and neither do the people watching from the sidelines. What made matters worse for Butta was his involvement in a murder case tied to Lil J, a case that dragged his name through the mud. At first, it seemed like the kind of bond that couldn't be broken, but when the heat came down, Butta's street reputation began to unravel. The question that lingered in the air wasn't about who fired the shot. It was whether Butta had been playing both sides. And then, the rumors hit like a ton of bricks. Whispers in the alleyways and backstreets hinted that Butta had cooperated with the authorities during the FBG Buta trial. That rumor was enough to make anyone with a shred of respect for the code take a step back. But for someone like Butta, whose name had always been tied to street loyalty, the damage was irreparable. When you go against the grain like that, you're more than just a rat. You're a ghost in the eyes of your old crew. And once you become a ghost, there's no coming back. The aftermath was ugly. Butta, once feared and respected, found himself isolated. His calls weren't answered, his old homies kept their distance, and every street corner he once walked with his chest out now felt colder, emptier. The accusations of him being a snitch became louder, and that shadow followed him everywhere, stripping him of whatever street credibility he had left. Butta wasn't just facing his fallout with Lil J. He was facing a city that no longer wanted to see him rise. In the end, the betrayal wasn't just a personal one. It was a public spectacle, one that left Butta with a reputation that may never be restored. As time passed, it became clear. Butta's path had led him down a road from which there was no return. The streets that had once embraced him were now his biggest enemies. His name, once synonymous with power, was now a punchline in every conversation. The man who had once been untouchable was now a cautionary tale, and the whispers about his cooperation with the authorities only added fuel to the fire. His chance at redemption? Slim to none, in a world where loyalty is the only currency that matters. FBG Butta's story is one of pain, pride, and public disgrace. From surviving 13 gunshots to crashing out in a police chase, and from trying to build a legitimate career to falling victim to the harshest street codes, Butta's life has been a roller coaster of highs and lows. The viral video of him crying in a police station is just the latest chapter in a life full of questionable decisions, betrayal, and the ever-present shadow of his past. In the end, Butta's downfall isn't just about getting caught crying. It's about losing the respect of those around him and realizing that his street reputation might be beyond repair. Will Butta ever be able to come back from this? Or is this the final nail in the coffin of his career? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, his journey is far from over. And that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you enjoyed the deep dive and the insight we brought to the table. Before you go, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Ring the notification bell while you're at it. That way, you'll always be the first to know when we drop something new. Oh, and if you found value in this video, smash that like button. It's totally free, but it helps us out way more than you might think. Every like, comment, and share helps keep this channel growing, so we can bring you even more great videos. Thanks for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay tuned, and keep it locked right here.